Welcome back. Let us now dissect the code we wrote in previous lectures. Line number 2 in Eclipse. First word is public. The class uses an access specifier public, which indicates that our class is accessible to other classes. There are two access specifiers possible for the class. One is public and another is default. That means you don't type anything. I'll explain the access specifier in detail when we learn packages, but for now, you can declare all your classes with public scope. The second keyword is class. Class is the keyword used to create Java classes. The third word indicates the name of the class is my first class. Name of the class, name of the method, or name of the variables. These are known as identifiers in Java. So in this case, my first class, main, arguments, system, out, println are all examples of identifiers. Note that in Java, identifiers are case sensitive. There are some rules related to identifier names. First one is identifier name must begin with either a letter A to Z in lower or uppercase or an underscore or a $sign. As ARGS is an identifier, so let us try to verify rule number 1 for this variable name. So it can start with a letter in a small case or in a capital case, no errors, or it can start with an underscore, no errors, or it can start with a $sign, still no errors, but it cannot start with a digit. Now you can see the error. Second rule is after the first character, subsequent characters may use numbers from 0 to 9. So I can write 098 and no error. Third rule is identifiers cannot use Java keywords like public, class, void, static, etc. I cannot change the name to public. I'm getting an error. Or void, again error. Here is the list of Java keywords. Const and goto are reserved even though they are not currently used. Strict FP was added in JDK 1.2. Assert was added in JDK 1.4 and enum was added in JDK 5.0, and other keywords are all primitive keywords. You don't have to remember all the keywords. At the end of this course, we will learn most of the keywords. Now come back to the identifier naming rules. The fourth rule is identifier cannot use some of the literals such as true, false or null. So I cannot rename it to true or false or null. We will learn about literals in later chapters. Let us come back to the first line of this code, that is the line number 2 in Eclipse IDE. Fourth character is the bracket. This is the opening bracket of this class. Now let us see the line number 3. Main method is a special method which indicates the starting point of the Java program. When we execute this class, the control goes inside the main method and start executing statements one by one. So suppose there are multiple statements, it will first execute this statement, then it will go to the next line and so on. As far as this main method goes, use the method signature as it is, don't change anything. First word is public. This is the access specifier for the main method. There are other access specifiers available, that is protected, private and default, that can be applied to other methods but not to this special main method. Second word is static. This means main method is shared among all the instances of this class. We'll learn static in details in future lectures. Third one is void. Means this method does not return anything. Fourth word is main. This is the name of the method and as we had seen, it is an identifier. Then comes the opening bracket of this method. Round brackets are used as part of method signature. Then we have string array. This method accepts string array as a parameter. We'll see this in the later chapter. What are the arguments that we can pass inside a method? ARGS, this is the name of the string array parameter. You can change to whatever you like, but it should follow identifier rule. Finally, this is the opening bracket for the main method. Come to the line number 4 in Eclipse. System.out.println. It prints the text enclosed by the double quotes on the standard output device, typically a display screen or a console. We are going to use this statement a lot and Eclipse has provided a shortcut for it. Just type sysout and press Control space, and autocomplete will write the statement for you. Cool, isn't it? If you want to delete the whole line, move the cursor to that line and press Control D. You can also use system.out.print statement. So what is the difference between these two statements? Println adds a new line character, that is, it takes you to the next line, whereas print method keeps the cursor at the current line. Let us see one example. Let me delete this statement. System.out.print A, copy this statement, paste, and B, save the file, right click, run as Java application. This statement printed A and it kept the cursor at the same line. It did not go to the next line. And then it printed the character B and it kept the cursor after B. It did not go to the next line. If you try to place the cursor to the next line, you will find that there is no new line after B. Now let me change the first one to println, save it, run it. Now in the output, it has printed A. After printing A, it has placed the cursor to the next line, and then it had printed B and it kept the cursor onto the same line. There is no new line after B. I cannot place the cursor downwards. Let me go back to the original version of this class. Finally, there is semicolon at the end. Semicolon is used to end the statement. You can use multiple semicolon and it will not give you any compilation error. Line number 5 in Eclipse. This is the closing bracket of the main method. Place the cursor after the bracket and Eclipse will show you the corresponding opening or closing bracket. So in this case, bracket at the line number 5 is the closing bracket of main method. If I place the cursor over here, it shows the closing bracket of main method. Similarly, line 6 is the closing bracket of the class. That's it for this lecture. Hope this lecture helped you to understand the structure of a Java class. Though this is very basic, but as we move ahead, we will see complex codes and examples. Next lecture is all about adding comments to Java codes. See you in the next lecture.